Okay. Good morning, everyone. Being that we had technical difficulties yesterday during our Zoom call, I did want to record how DocuSign and Command work together so that the process is a little more seamless than it was yesterday. So, to begin, the first thing that we want to do is we want to check that our DocuSign account has been connected to our Command account. So, where we want to go is we want to go to our name in the top right-hand corner up here. And once that drop down menu comes up, we want to go down to where it says settings. So after we've clicked on settings, all of our connected applications will pop up. As you can see here, DocuSign looks like it's been connected. So as long as it shows your email address, if you are a newer agent with Keller Williams and you've completed that Scott Leroy questionnaire, Scott has actually gone in on the back end and he set you up with DocuSign. So most likely you are good there. If you guys aren't connected to DocuSign, please let me or Kevin know so that we can help connect your account. But as we can see, our current status is connected. So now we can move on. So I'll just go back to the home screen. Okay, so before we get to DocuSign itself, everything in Command essentially starts with a contact. So where we want to go is the Contacts applet in Command. So if I go over on the left-hand side of the screen here, it's right underneath the Home button. So I'll just click Contacts. Okay, so we used a test contact yesterday. I believe we used Peter Griffin. So if it's a contact already existing within your database, great. We can then go ahead and create an opportunity. If it's a brand new contact, what we would do is just click this add contact button over on the right and fill out this contact's information. So in this case, if I was doing a test account or an example, I could just do their first and last name, their email address. I will put my own email address, or I'll actually do my Gmail address just because my KW email address might already be within the system. So in that case, it won't recognize. Or you know what, I'll just do. Okay, so we'll click create and now the contact is within the database. So if I wanted to search, I can just do an example and we'll click on that contacts card. So on the left-hand side of the contact, it will have all of its information. So if the phone number was put into the contacts card, it would appear here. We also have the email address for the contact. If we kept scrolling down and we were to add additional information, the home address would populate here as well. But being that we're just putting little information in right now, we don't need to worry about that. So on the right-hand side of the contacts card, we're currently under the timeline tab, and we want to create an opportunity for said contact. So right next to timeline, it does say opportunity, so we'll go ahead and we'll click on that. So as you can see, it says no opportunities have been created for this contact. So in that case, there's two ways in which we can create one. Number one, we can click create opportunity at the top over here, or number two, we can click this blue plus button. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and click create opportunity. And what comes up is the opportunity card. A lot of things have already been pre-selected for you. So in this case, the market center has already been selected. The client is the contact's name, so that's already been selected. The owner is you yourself as the agent, so that's been selected as well. The only other thing that I want to mention is that if you are on a team, you will have an option to make a team opportunity, but if you are a solo agent, don't worry about that. This will actually be grayed out. Co-seller, you are able to add an additional contact to the opportunity. You just make sure that they're within the database or uploaded to your command, and then you'll be able to search them. Another note that I want to mention is opportunity name. So it will start with the contact's full name, the opportunity type. So you can go ahead at any time and change this opportunity. So in this example, we're going to say that this is a listing. If it was a buyer, obviously you would go ahead and select a buyer. And then given there are two other choices, landlord or tenant, you can go ahead and select those as well. So again, it will say the contact's name, the opportunity type, And then for compliance reasons, we suggest that you also put in an address for the end. So in this case, I will do the classic 123 Main Street. And then if you keep scrolling down, you're able to add additional things for the opportunity, but in this case, we're going to keep it pretty bare bones. For commission rate, it's you yourself as an agent's commission rate. So in this case, we'll do 2.5%. And like someone had mentioned during the call yesterday, you are able to go in and change this information. So it isn't permanent. Opportunity phase, we will go ahead and we'll say that this is an active listing and we are currently showing the property. So anything with a red asterisk means that anything with a red asterisk means it needs to be filled out before moving on. So everything that has a red asterisk shows that it's been completed. So we'll go ahead and we'll click create. And as you can see here, we've gone ahead and we've now created an opportunity for this contact. So from here, we will click on the actual opportunity that we have just created. And it will now bring us to the opportunity section within command. As you can see, the general information already shows what we filled out in that opportunity card. If you were to fill out the estimated list price with the commission rate, it will calculate the commission. However, it won't be 100% accurate, being that it hasn't broken down MLS deductions, any other type of, if you're doing co-listing example. So that's just showing a very basic commission at the moment. You are able to fill in the seller worksheet here if you would like. As long as you click the pencil icon for any of these boxes, you are able to go in and edit this information. So something that I want to mention is that if this is a live listing, it's on the MLS, at the top over here where it says the contact's name, the opportunity type, and the property, you are able to then go and click this select from listings button. And in this case, if you went ahead, you clicked all listings. If you actually selected the property type, this information would then pull over to DocuSign and its documents, so you wouldn't have to fill any of the property information out. Again, just a suggestion. I know some people were a little confused when we covered that yesterday, so you don't necessarily have to select a listing, and sometimes you aren't able to, being that, again, if it isn't active yet, then you wouldn't go ahead and choose this option. So moving on from here, we're currently under the Details tab. Where we would like to be is the Documents tab right in the middle, so we'll go ahead and we'll click on that. And from here, it looks like we haven't selected an opportunity checklist. So over on the left-hand side over here, you can see where it says Pick Checklist Type, and there is an upside down triangle. If we click that upside down triangle, it will ask what type of checklist that we need for the documents. So is it a residential listing, a commercial, multifamily, referred? We'll just go ahead and we'll do the classic residential listing. So after we've selected that, what will then populate are all of the forms required by our Market Center for compliance. So in this case, you'll see no documents have been uploaded for the required documents yet. It will give the document names so that when the time comes, you are able to fill in where each document is required. So after we've picked a checklist type, what we want to do now is go to DocuSign. So as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen here, it says Start a Transaction. If we click that drop-down, there are two options that come up. Number one, DocuSign, and number two, .loop. So being that we want to select DocuSign, we will go ahead and click on this. And what it brings us to is a DocuSign login. So I will go ahead and log Kevin in. And sometimes it has two-factor authentication, so it may send you a text with a verification code. But after we've gone ahead and we've logged into our DocuSign account, it will drop us into what's called a room. So as you can see here, we have the opportunity or the contact's name, the opportunity type, and then the property. So after we've dropped into the room, the next thing that we'd like to accomplish is uploading or adding documents here. So over on the right-hand side of the screen, there will be an add button, and we want to upload DocuSign forms. One thing that I want to mention, if you are new to DocuSign and it gives you the option of realtor, or there was one other choice, I can't remember at the moment, but what me and Kevin talked about yesterday was that you do need to put your NRDS or your NERDS ID in, so that once you've put that ID in, you are able to access all of our office's groups or forms. One other thing I want to mention, the libraries down over here, these are primarily for MLS or board forms. So anything transactional will be through the groups at the top. So like we did before with opportunities, we selected that checklist, that residential checklist, and same thing goes here. If this is a listing for a single family, we'll go ahead and we'll check this. So on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that all of these documents are in red and they are required. So anything required, you'll go ahead, you'll check this off. And in addition to the required documents, you are able to add additional documents as well. They don't need to be added to the room, but again, if it was a form in your case, so it's conditionally required, you'll just go ahead and check that box off and then click Add Selected. So as you can see, we have all of our required forms selected, and what we would like to select is this Add Selected button down at the bottom. So now all of these forms and templates will drop into the opportunities room. Same thing with .loop, they are forms, so you are able to go in and fill them out. In this case, I will just do the listing commission agreement. And since DocuSign and Command speak with one another, you can see that the owner or the seller, in this case, their name has already been filled out, their email address. So anything within that contacts card within Command, any information will then pull over to DocuSign and already be filled out in said form. Our office and brokerage information is pulling from the KW white pages, so you don't have to fill that information in besides the listing price or the sale price. Again, all information from white pages is being pulled, so you don't have to fill in your name or the brokerage. All you would have to do is just check which one, what you're currently representing. So in this case, you can kind of use the listing agreement as what we call a master form. It has a lot of areas in which you can fill information out. So what I will do is I'll create a list price. So let's do a $500,000 home. And then what we can do is also select a sale commission price. So what I will do is type in 2.5% here. And after that's been filled out, we will go ahead and we will click Save and Close. Again, we're not filling out the entire form right now. I just wanted to fill in a little bit of information as an example. So any information that you have filled out in that form, and let's say that a lot of those fields are also similar to the other forms within DocuSign, that information will auto-populate to all other forms. In addition to that, we're currently under the Documents tab. If we go to the Details tab right to the left of it, we are then able to see that we filled in that listing amount here. So anything that you fill in a document will then pull over to the details section, and vice versa. Anything that you fill in the detail section will then pull over to the document. So let's just edit this as an example. For list date, I'll do June 5th, so tomorrow, and then I will pick September 4th, 2021 as the expiration date. Once I've made that edit here, I'll also make another edit. So for cell phone, I'll just put or business phone, I'll put the office's phone number. And once we click save, if we would like to go back to the listing commission agreement, we'll just go back to documents. Again, opening up that listing agreement. And let's see if it's even on this form. Yes, as you can see, term of agreement. So it's showing the list date 6/5/2021 to expiration 9/4/2021. Again, we didn't fill that information in the document, we filled it out in the details, but since everything talks with amongst each other, they all know to pre-fill that information out where it's needed. Moving forward, so let's say that all of our documents have now been signed. What we would like to do is we would like to create an envelope. So essentially, this envelope is how your clients will be receiving these forms to electronically sign. So right under where we added those forms, there is a select all button. So if we wanted to select all 11 documents that are currently within our room to send out in an envelope, we'll check off that select all button. And then there's two ways in which we can create an envelope. Number one, we can go to the envelope tab at the top up here. Or number two, there is a bulk action tab right at the top. And this little pen icon, it says create envelope. We can go ahead and select that. A little slower than usual. Again, technology really doesn't like me these past 24 hours, so okay. So now we're in the envelope details. Again, you can change the envelope name. So instead of please DocuSign, you can include what type of file they would be receiving or whatever you would like to rename the envelope. Another thing about the envelope. So as you can see, all of the 11 documents that we've gone ahead and selected have then been put into the envelope. You are able to see that the document you are able to see what the document looks like, how many pages are in each document, etc. So the listing commission, you can see 2 pages, statement of disclosure, 6 pages, lead paint disclosure, 2 pages. So you are able to see what documents you are sending out. And in addition to that, you can also add more documents if needed. So how can you then send this out? When it says add recipient down here, what we would always, always, always want to select is this pre-tagged roles option. So in this case, it then recognizes who needs to sign what, so what role that they are, what they fill for each document, and then we are able to go ahead and select their email address. So for seller one, that would be the example, so the contact name. So we'll go ahead to where it says recipients, available recipients. We do see that the seller is down here with its email address, so we'll go ahead and we'll select that. And then for the listing agent, we can also check that box off. And for recipient, we know that it's Kevin, so we'll click that drop down and we'll click Kevin's name right here. So after we have added all of our recipients to the envelope, we'll go ahead and we'll click add selected. Those recipients will then drop in. And one thing that I do want to mention is that you can determine the order of signing. So let's say that the seller obviously needed to sign before the listing agent. What you can do is go ahead and rearrange the order and drag it and drop it. Or if you wanted this little box over here where it says 1, for where it says listing agent, we can just put 2, meaning that they're the second person to receive it and sign. Someone brought up the fact that if they wanted to send this to an attorney, but they don't need to sign anything, again, you are able to add a recipient and then you're able to add an email address so that if it was, let's say, Cali Law, and then we put their email address in here, 123 at kw.com. Where it says needs to sign, what we can do is click that drop down to where it says needs to view or receives a copy. So in that case, there's no field in which they need to sign, but they are able to receive it in their inbox and see the document. So we'll go ahead and we'll do needs to view. One last thing is next to where it says needs to sign, there is a more option. So let's say that you're sending out files that have sensitive information, bank account information, any type of thing that you wouldn't want all parties to see. What you can do is then click more and you can add an access authentication code. So in that case, this person is only receiving a code so that they can open up the document securely and privately. So no one else is then seeing this information. They can also add a private message so that this person's only seeing this message as opposed to sending it out to the entire group. Similar to what we were talking about before, renaming the envelope. So you determine what the email subject as well as what the email message is. So if this was please DocuSign by June 5th, 2021, we can have that as the email subject. And then as the email message, we can write something along the lines of thanks for your trust. Okay, so we've created an envelope. We've dropped in all of the forms. We've added the recipients to the envelope. What we want to do next is click next at the top up here. So it's very important that we check off that pre-tagged roles because after we are about to send the envelope out, DocuSign then recognizes where each person is supposed to sign. So as you can see here, it has where the seller would need to initial, where they would need to sign for each document. So it gives colors. So in this case, the seller is yellow, the agent is blue. So you can go ahead and preview what each document looks like based on what each recipient is receiving. All those roles will then already be populated in the chance that you need to also add a signature, an initial, a date, a checkbox, a radio box, a drop down, etc. Over on the left-hand side over here where it says standard fields, we can go ahead and let's just say that we need to add a signature. So once we selected signature, we can then go ahead and drop this in, meaning that someone else needs to sign in said place. So as you can see, the recipient would be the seller, so just another place where they would sign. If you by accident hit this, no worries, it's not permanent. You'll just click delete over on the right-hand side. And now that signature box is deleted. So again, all of the signature fields have been populated from that pre-tagged role. Someone did mention something about a seller's disclosure. If I make it all the way down to that form, see if I can get there. Okay, so as you can see, these little, they're called radio boxes. They are able to be checked off by the seller. So again, they are able to go ahead and fill out that form. Okay. So before we go ahead and send it, we do have the option to preview what each person is receiving in their inbox. So if we click on recipient preview up at the top, it gives us an option as to who we want to see viewing wise. So in this case, if we wanted to view it as the seller, we can go ahead and just click start. And what it will do is it will bring us to all of the places in which the seller needs to sign. So it'll jump down to each section so that they can go ahead and fill out these documents. Again, you are able to view it based on how many recipients are in the email. One thing I want to mention, I know that we added an attorney. Being that we didn't give them an option to sign, it won't show up as an option to view it from their perspective. So only people who have been given the option to sign is how we can view it. And again, we are able to see it through a desktop, through a tablet, or through a mobile phone. So long as everything looks good to go, what we can do is just X out of here, and then we can click that send button. So anyone who we have put in the envelope, any recipients, will then be sent this email saying that they need to DocuSign. So that is DocuSign and filling out forms. Let me just go back just in case. Okay, so once your envelope has been sent out, it will be blue, and what it will say is waiting for others. This 11 down here, meaning there are 11 documents in the envelope, and then the 3, meaning that there are 3 people in the envelope. Anything gray means it's a draft, so nothing has yet been sent out. And then once it is green, it will say completed, meaning that all of your forms have been signed. They're then ready to upload to Command for compliance. So now we'll go back to Command. And like we were doing before, we picked out this residential checklist type. So as you can see, none of our documents have been uploaded yet, and they are required at this point in time. So we can go ahead and we can add a file, and it's going to ask where you want your forms to be coming from. So in this case, it's asking if you want to manually upload them, but we want to go to DocuSign. So if the forms were signed, being that I didn't send out any of the forms yet, it will show that you are able to go ahead and select these forms from DocuSign. So that's how you individually add a file. But if you wanted to add all 11 of those documents, we'll just click this attach multiple files here, to where again, it's saying, do you want to manually upload these from your computer, or do you want to pull them in from DocuSign? So being that we want to select it from DocuSign, it will give you a drop down, and then it will bring up all of the forms currently within your room. One more thing that I want to note is that any forms that have been signed will give you the form name with a dash and then say signed PDF, so that you do know this is a form that has been signed by all parties that you can upload to the Market Center for compliance. Once all of those forms have been uploaded, the last thing would just be clicking the Submit to Market Center button over on the right-hand side over here. Again, I don't have any forms that I've sent out in an envelope. So once you have sent those forms out and they have come back signed, just upload them to Command and then click Submit to Market Center so that Lisa, Kieran, and Allison can then review your documents to see if your forms are compliant and you are able to be paid. Last thing, once your forms have been uploaded, we'll then go next door to where it says offers and commissions. And this is where you'll put in that accepted offer. So what we'll do is we'll click add new offer over here. You can rename it. So instead of doing initial offer, we'll just change that to accepted offer. And we'll go ahead and create that offer. So the version name, just what we filled out, the offer date, the close date, you can put that information in. We'll go to parties. Again, the only thing that needs to be filled out is anything with a red asterisk. So as you can see here, we did an example. So now we'll do a test. So we don't need to put the buyer's information in. We only need to put their name and their representative. So in this case, the associate's name, I'll do myself. And then we'll go ahead and click terms. So very simple, anything that you would regularly fill out with an offer. If it was an all cash offer, you would put that information in here. Let's just go ahead and say that this is an all cash offer for the sales price. What percentage, if it was a mortgage, and I could be completely wrong, but not everything within here is for New Jersey, so you don't need to worry about that either. So we'll click agent analysis. This is just giving the pros and cons of what each offer comes with. So again, you don't really need to fill anything out here. So what we can do is then click save, and we can see that this offer has now been input into our offers and commissions tab. Again, if this was the accepted offer that we are going forward with, we'll just click that accept button. Something that I want to note, you don't have to put just the accepted offer in. You can put all of the offers that you receive during the course of the transaction, so that again, you are able to kind of go through and see which offer would work best. I'm just giving it as an example for the accepted offer only. So like I was saying, we'll go ahead, we'll click accept offer. And from here, we'll click manage commission. So this is how you then submit your commission request to the Market Center. So anything with a red triangle or a yellow triangle means that it needs to be updated. So in this case, edit general information. It'll show you the commission breakdown. Total units always has to be 1. Contract date, I'll just pick tomorrow, and then I'll click save changes. So my general information's been input. Payment, you are able to add other agents. So if you aren't just the sole agent for this transaction, you'll then add the other agent, their name. If this was a co-list, again, agent units, the units always needs to total to 1. So in that case, you would put 0.5 for the other agent, and then you would go back and edit your information to 0.5 as well, so that the units adds up to 1 whole. Once that's been input, the agent gross commission will then be calculated so that you are able to see the breakdown of this commission. If everything's good to go, it will show you the gross commission, the net, the calculations. You are also able to add additional information. So in this case, oops, let me go back. We'll edit the agent payment. We'll go down, we can make donations. So if you wanted to donate any of your commission to KW Cares, Bold, E&O, etc., just type that dollar amount in. So we'll do like 25 here. Click calculate commission. Everything will update. And then someone did ask about MLS deductions or bonuses. So where it says extra payment options, we'll just click add item. And then this drop-down menu will give you the option of choosing if it's a bonus, a concession, or a deduction. So you're then able to go in. If it was a bonus in this case, we'll type in that amount, and then we'll go ahead and we'll click add. So once we save the changes, everything on the right-hand side of the screen will then show the updated commission request. Just checking. So again, just going back, seeing that everything is correct. Missing information listing. So being that I didn't select the listing, I just made it a test account. It's going to give me that yellow triangle, but as long as there is a legitimate listing associated to the opportunity, you won't see this when trying to submit your request. So we've gone ahead, we've filled out our commission. What we would then do is just click submit, so that this commission request would then be submitted to the Market Center for Lisa to review and either accept or return. I know that we went through a lot. I know that we had technical difficulties yesterday, but I'm hoping that this is a little clearer on how DocuSign and Command work together. Like I was saying, Kevin and I are going to be holding tech classes, more DocuSign classes, so that you guys can kind of get a better feel as to how DocuSign and Command work, but we are here to help during this transition. So I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope this was a lot better than yesterday. And again, reach out to me and Kevin if you had any further questions. Thanks, guys.